Major League Baseball welcomes you to the following presentation of the Seattle Mariners.
Baseball is back after a brief hiatus for the All-Star break. The Mariners open up the second half at home against the Giants. Mariners TV is presented by PIMCO. Beautiful blue skies overhead. First of a three-game series, and here's what it looks like in the West as we speak right now. The Mariners a game and a half behind the Rangers, who are losing badly right now against the Atlanta Braves. So a win today for the Mariners and the Rangers lost. They're just a half game back of first place Texas. Glad to have you with us inside T-Mobile Park. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Ryan Rowland-Smith. And the Mariners are not exactly where they want to be. They certainly are close to things. The good news is everything that they want is still very much in front of them.
Yeah, it's true. And look, a really rocky first half with a lot of injuries, some guys underperforming, but you get to have that break, and then all of a sudden you come in, you've got the San Francisco Giants who've had their own struggles, especially on the pitching, and then the Cincinnati Reds. So trying to get going before you head down to Texas to take care of business.
Well, the Mariners certainly have some things that they want to improve upon in the second half of the season. As you look at this club right now through the first half, what's the one thing that really stands out to you?
Well, I think they just simply got to do better with runners in scoring position when it counts. We talk about doing all the little things. We talked about them being more of a complete offense coming out of spring training, and that's been a real struggle for them. You see that 219 batting average, worst in Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position. The slug isn't quite there, and you know that Cal Raleigh at some point is going to get going whenever that is. That man, Josh Naylor, the middle of that lineup, the slug will come back, but until that does, you do have to do some little things. Push runners over and put the ball in play. Some of the higher strikeout totals with runners in scoring position as well. Do those little things now, and that slug will come eventually.
Well, the Mariners were certainly hopeful that Julio Rodriguez would be activated off the 7-day concussion IL and be in the lineup today. He is not. He's still on the IL. The Mariners are hopeful that he could be activated tomorrow before Game 2. This is, of course, what happened to him on July the 2nd when he was running the bases.
Yeah, and this was rough to see. It all happened when he got to the base. All of a sudden, he wasn't feeling too good. Look, these concussion injuries are very tricky to manage and figure out when guys are ready to come back. Now, he did work out with the team today, so you're pretty hopeful he's going to come back. But, man, they do need that presence in the lineup. Not to mention a right-handed bat.
Yeah, Mariners are eager to see how he feels after his pregame routine today. Hopeful he can be activated and be in the lineup tomorrow in advance of Game 2 against the Giants. Mariners are going to a 6-man rotation for the time being. It's a 6-game homestand, so you'll see all 6 against both these Giants and then the Reds to follow. It's Bryce Miller on the mound today. He has been one of the simply best starting pitchers in all of baseball since being activated off the injured list. Brian Wu will go tomorrow. And speaking about dominance, he has been electric at home. An ERA barely a smidge over 2 at T-Mobile Park. And the last time we saw Logan Gilbert on the mound, well, at home, it was on July 4th. He pitched an absolute beauty of a ball game. And last time we saw him in the first half, he became just the 5th Mariner ever to pick up 1,000 career strikeouts with Seattle. That's what it looks like for these 3 games, Mariners and the Giants. We've got more coming up right after this.
Now,
Mariners TV is brought to you by Emerald Queen Casino. It's a night of live professional boxing with the main event at Emerald Queen Casino on August 8th. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. By the Washington Traffic Safety Commission, before you drive, put your phone out of reach and stay focused on the road. And by Holland America, the only cruise line offering an Alaska Glacier guarantee, Seattle's hometown cruise line. Beautiful night here in Seattle. Perfect way to begin the second half of the season. We look back on the first half, our 90-second first half recap. Welcome to opening day 2026 in the 50th season of the Seattle Mariners.
We're at the verge of here. Something special in this building here at T-Mobile.
Wow! Randy house call! Man! Second deck!
Now that is some good situational hitting.
The Mariners come back home and they sweep their division rival Houston Astros in 4 games.
This just had everything a baseball fan could want.
Lights out! Superman catch!
Yeah, we got to set the tone and set the tone early, get the boys fired up.
Oh, he just threw him a pair of handcuffs. Rack him up.
Just coming out, pumping 99.
Ball game! Mariners win!
This was fantastic to watch, just entertaining.
And the statue here will stand as a testament that you will always be a Seattle Mariner.
I am grateful and honored that there's room for another number 51 to be retired.
Cole Emerson, top prospect for the Mariners. They feel like this guy's going to be a premier player.
Colt Emerson! You're not in your backyard anymore! They've done it again! Walk-off win once more for the Mariners!
A lot of celebrations happening on this field.
It's gone! It's gone! And coming, Julio!
Good first half. We look forward to the second half.
Second half for the Mariners begins tonight with that man on the mound. Bryce Miller begins half number 2 for the Mariners. He has been electric since coming off the IL. He starts things off the first of 3. The Mariners and the Giants coming up.
It's Miller time.
Mariners TV is presented by PIMCO. And as the Mariners open up a second chapter, the second half beginning tonight against the San Francisco Giants, we'd like to welcome the new presenting sponsor of Mariners TV, a great Northwest company. PIMCO Insurance will be with us all season long. Mariners and the Giants, the first of 3 tonight, and hardly a better way to get a series going, Hype, than with this man, Bryce Miller, up on the mound.
Yeah, one of the biggest and brightest stories of the first half since he came off the IL with that little oblique injury. The velocity is up. The stuff is so much better, so much sharper. 2.18 ERA. Really, the only struggle he had was the last time out against the Miami Marlins. Looking to call it, if you want to call this a bounce back. But the four-seam has been electric. This high spin rate, 2,500 RPM on that four-seam fastball. That's the pitch that everything else it comes off of that four-seam at the top of the strike zone with the splitter, slider, and sweeper.
This is a Giants lineup that is a little maddening to figure out in some ways. They are 4th in average, they are 5th in slug, and that equates to 24th in runs per game. Luis Arraez is at the very top of the order, batting .330 on the season. In fact, there are a lot of hitters in this lineup that you go, man, he's really swinging it well. Eldridge, Schmidt, of course, Devers, who got off to a slow start and has become awfully hot as of late since around the middle part of June. And yet, it's a team that does not get on base much at all. They are 25th in baseball in on-base percentage, and because of that, in large part, they have not scored nearly as many runs as you'd think they would have. So here is Luis Arraez, the 3-time batting champion. He won it 3 straight years with 3 different teams. First player to ever do that. Season number 1 with San Francisco. Bryce Miller ready to go, and his first pitch misses inside to get things going tonight in game 1. Miller coming off his only start where you didn't go, that was incredible.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, how many times do we say, look, this is the best version of Bryce Miller? And it was eye-popping, some of the stuff too. Velocity up in the upper 90s. The stuff just had that good life, that good finish to it. But that last time out, the fastball was a real struggle. It was just 0 swing and miss on the four-seam. It's that red-hot Miami Marlins on that really tough road trip for the Mariners.
1 ball and 1 strike to Arraez. Misses upstairs. 2-1. 5 innings for Bryce his last time on the mound against the Marlins. 6 runs, 4 earned, and maybe the most surprising thing, the walks. He walked 4 batters in that start. He'd only walked 5 all season up to that point. Popped up over to third, a step or 2 into foul ground. J.P. Crawford underneath it, and now brings it back into fair territory for out number 1. This is what the rest of the defense looks like tonight behind Bryce Miller. The Mariners are still waiting for Julio to be cleared off the concussion IL. So because of that, Victor Robles continues to anchor center field for the Mariners. Everything else pretty standard. Randy in left, Raley in right field, Emerson and Young up the middle, and of course Cal Raleigh doing the catching.
I got a chance to see Julio working out with the team pregame. Looked like he was ready, but man, those concussion ILs can be so tricky.
It sounded like hearing Dan talk before the game tonight, it wasn't so much about the actual routine that Julio went through today prior to first pitch, but more how he felt when he was done.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a big one, too. And the further you get away from when you hit the IL, the tougher it is, right? I mean, we talk about this all the time. You miss a month from game action at this level, well, then guess what? You're going to have to go and get up to speed. A little rehab assignment. But, man, no, it'd be good to see him back. He was very much missed on that road trip.
Bryce Eldridge, the batter. And he takes low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. This has been a very disappointing San Francisco Giants team. They're 41-55. There are only 4 teams in baseball with the worst winning percentage this year than San Francisco, a team that came into the year with great expectations, high hopes. Fouls off that splitter, 1-2. Only the Mets, Rockies, Royals, and Angels have struggled more this year. Tony Vitello, their first-year skipper, of course, the former head coach at Tennessee. You saw Ron Washington there in the corner of the screen. Wash, one of the great baseball men in the game, now part of the coaching staff for the Giants, as a fastball at 97 right over the plate gets a swing and a miss. Oh, there's a swing and a miss on a fastball. That's a good change for Bryce.
Yeah, it's a really good sign. You talked about this last time out, and you mentioned the walks too, Goldie. I think he was really getting away from the attack last time against the Marlins because that pitch right there wasn't getting the swing and miss. So all of a sudden you saw a ton of sweepers, splits. He was out of the strike zone, pitching away from contact. That's where those walks started to pile up, but that's a good sign right there.
One of just 3 right-handed bats in this lineup for the Giants, Casey Schmidt. Schmidt having a really nice year, 19 home runs. His slug is way up this season. He's already set a career high in homers, doubles, ribbies, all while hitting for a considerably higher average. We talked about the Giants having a very low on base percentage. They're 25th in baseball. They just simply do not walk. They have the lowest walk rate in the majors, and Casey Schmidt has not helped in that regard. He has walked 9 times this year. That's it. Lowest walk rate in baseball. 2-1.
They're getting a shot of Tony Vitello over there on the bench. I mean, he's been under the microscope all year long because coming from college straight into the big leagues, really the first time ever. It's been disappointing.
Ooh, very interesting here. A 3-1 count to the guy who never walks. 2 outs, nobody on. If he can reach, Rafael Devers is on deck. Here comes that 3-1 pitch, and it's a strike on the outer black. EQC Tracer has it right there, middle away. Schmidt calls for time. Gorgeous night here inside T-Mobile Park. Temperatures in the low 70s. Strike 3 called, and an early challenge coming from the Giants and Casey Schmidt. Did that clip the outer edge? ABS powered by T-Mobile. Let's find out. It is a strike. Walk number 10 will have to wait. Bryce Miller, a 1-2-3, top of the first.
Something special in this building here at T-Mobile.
Everything a baseball fan could want.
A lot of celebrations happening on this field.
Walk-off win once more for the Mariners.
Good first half. We look forward to the second half.
Well, the Mariners are hoping for vibes like that in half number 2 of the year. J.P. Crawford leading things off for the Mariners. Landon Roop on the mound. First pitch put right in play. Luis Arraez has it come right to him. 1 pitch and 1 out. How about another look at those Mariners starting lineups? Here is Randy Arozarena, the Mariners lone all-star, All-Star in back-to-back seasons as a Mariner. What a first half it was for Dom Canzone. Now finds himself batting third and DHing for the Mariners. Cole Young, a very, very positive first half. Played in nearly every inning of every game for the Mariners. He will bat sixth. Randy taking inside for ball one. Landon Roop is on the mound, his 19th start of the season.
That's been challenging. Now we're going to challenge, but a chance to see Landon Roop.
Now Kavanaugh, the catcher, is challenging this, thinking it was a strike, and it was a ball. I mean, is this about as early as we've seen a team lose a challenge?
And you go back to that last homestand guy at the plate, Randy Rosarina, 2 in that one at bat. But we've seen this goal. I mean, we've had the whole first half of a season with the ABS system where it can really cost you if you burn those challenges early.
I mean, at least for Randy, it ended the at bat. This time it happened during the at bat.
The batter's challenging the pitch.
Well, Randy is challenging this.
Pitch is a strike. CL has 1 challenge remaining.
I would say our home plate umpire is feeling pretty good about him so far tonight. Mark Rippinger. The 1-2. That's a tapper foul. Now Randy, a really, really good first half. It's been a brief period of time on the injured list because of that hamstring injury, but has been very hot as of late going into the break. The curveball is a pitch we will see a lot from Roop, and it is a slow curve.
Yeah, that's that big weapon for Landon Roop. Look, the command can be a little bit of a problem at times. There's a ton of movement on every pitch. He throws that sinker and cutter. But there is times where he cannot find the strike zone.
A chop back to the mound. Roop's got it knee high. 2 outs. How about the rest of that arsenal? StatCast powered by Google Cloud.
Yeah, he's coming off his best start ever in his major league career, gone 8 innings. But you talk about the sinker and the curveball. They're the 2 big weapons. But he has added that cutter a little bit more of late. He's starting to throw that pitch with way more confidence. But everything moving inside the strike zone. At times he will start to lose some trust in that fastball. Talking to some of the people with the on the Giant side, you'll see a ton of pitches start to mount.
Want to know the count to Dom Canzone. Well, the curveball is a real bread and butter pitch for Landon Roop, and if you look at the expected batting average this year on curveballs, Roop has one of the lowest, 176. That's it. He throws it a lot, over 20% of the time, and you can understand why. Really soft contact against that pitch by and large. That time a swing and a miss on a change. 1-2 to Canzone. One thing Roop does very well, he stays off the barrel. Good ground ball pitcher. Has had his struggles with walks this year at times. One and two still to Canzone, a career best 15 home runs already this year for the Ohio State product. Count stays put. 15 homers for Canzone to pace the ball club. 10 of those 14 home runs for Julio came in the month of May. That was an electric month.
And you think of that from Dominic Canzone. Remember, I mean, he spent the first half of the that first couple months of the season facing lefties too. So he was platooning to still the 15 home runs.
2 outs, nobody on, 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Mariners DH. Way outside, easy take. That curveball looked like came out of a poor grip. Cal would bat next if Dom can reach. And he does. He takes a fastball high.
This is going to be a key against Landon Roop. We talked about the walks can be an issue, Goldie. And the other part of this is too, you'll see that pitch count start to rack up against him. One of the highest pitches per innings in the game. About 18, just under 18 pitches per inning. So it's going to be key as this lineup gets going. Some offense cranking from this Mariners team.
Well, the Mariners are essentially facing him for the first time. It's his first ever start against the M's. He did make one brief relief outing, just one inning back in 2024 against Seattle. So in effect, his first time ever facing the Mariners, certainly as a starter. 2 outs and Canzone at first for Cal Raleigh. Man, this ball is way up there, but will it stay fair? It is foul. That is some big league hang time. Just needs to be straightened out a little bit.
We talked about Cal in this second half, trying to get some timing, some rhythm. How many poolside mashes have we seen into the old dugout? Hoping that somehow he stays inside that foul pole. Big in for Cal. Just something in this second half to salvage. It's been a rough year for him. To get that timing back. Have a big second half.
Well, the bottom line is the Mariners need some guys to start hitting for power.
Yeah.
Cal, Julio, Naylor. A check swing, one hopper back to the mound. That is not what Cal was hoping for. And it ends the inning. Canzone's walk is stranded. On to the second. Bryce Miller, fresh off a 1-2-3, top of the first. Well, you're looking at tonight's All-America line. Fans of the game enjoying tonight's game before departing from Pier 91 right here in Seattle tomorrow on a cruise to Alaska with Holland America. Perfect night to be at the ballpark. No score beginning the second. Rafael Devers riding a 16-game on-base streak will lead things off. He digs in there, that trademark open stance from Devers he's always had. He got off to a slow start this year, but has been much, much better as of late. If you look at his peers in the National League over the last calendar month, top 5 OPS in the league, over 1,100 in fact. A ton of doubles this year for Devers. Chases that fastball off the plate. 0-2.
He's got that big open stance. He's always had that ever since coming up with the Boston Red Sox, but early this season he was just trying to find it, trying to get in a rhythm, get on time.
3 pitches and Bryce just blows his doors off with 97 up above the zone. 3 straight strikeouts for Bryce Miller.
And speaking of that too, Bryce Miller had this little pause at the top of his windup, threw Rafael Devers off a little bit, messing up his timing on the other end.
And pretty early to work in a wrinkle like that, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's something you see too, and obviously you've been watching this video of Rafael Devers, what he's been doing lately, trying to get that rhythm with that giant leg kick. And you kind of pinpoint him to say, all right, this is a guy I'm going to try and mess up. Easier said than done though, when you do that little, you know, adjusting and changing that windup. But Bryce does it so well.
You ever try that?
I should have. I needed something, Golden.
0-2. Elliot Ramos activated off the injured list at the end of June. He missed almost 40 games with a right quad strain. He was an all-star 2 years ago with the Giants. On an 0-2. Splitter in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Casey Schmidt, Elliot Ramos, and Willie Adames batting 7th. The only right-handed bats in the order tonight for Tony Vitello and the Giants. He fouls it right back to Cal Raleigh's glove, and that fastball has had a lot more life on it so far tonight than in his previous start. That's 4 straight punch-outs for Bryce Miller. Well, the 50-season celebration weekend is almost here. Ichiro headlines the Alumni Home Run Derby August 7th. The top 50 greatest Mariners are unveiled in a legendary pregame ceremony August 8th, and fans can score an exclusive pin August 9th. Learn more and get your tickets at mariners.com/50. First pitch strike, slider at the knees to Jung-Hoo Lee, batting just over 300. It's been a struggle as of late for Jung-Hoo Lee, but that does tell you how great he was earlier this year, that his average is still just above 300 on the season. He ropes this into right field, hit firmly for a base hit. First man to reach base for the Giants against Bryce Miller, 2-out single. There comes Willie Adames. Mariners were just in Tampa long ago, the home for Willie. Big free agent ad not all that long ago for the Giants. 15 home runs on the year. Now, this is a Giants team, keep in mind, that does not strike out much at all. Essentially a top 5 strikeout rate this season. And we've already seen 4 straight punch outs. They don't walk, they don't strike out much.
That's why I was curious. We're talking about Bryce Miller's last outing. Another challenge.
This looks like a good one. That might have clipped the corner. A very good challenge from Cal Raleigh. He had some pent-up challenge energy on both these teams during the All-Star break. Coming fast and heavy here.
Usually takes a little bit of time to get back into the feel of the game, but the challenge is coming at you these first couple innings.
So an 0-2, and that is wide of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Adames.
Now, I was curious to see this matchup for Bryce Miller. He faced the Miami Marlins last time, who talked about none of the swing and miss on that 4-seam. This is a team that's extremely tough to strike out. Would he pitch away from contact? But he has been on the attack so far.
This is skied out to straightaway left field. Arozarena comes in a few strides, and he puts it away for out number 3. That single from Jung-Hoo Lee is stranded.
Bank of America.
Our PIMCO score 0-0 beginning the bottom of the second. Julio, a spectator tonight. There is great hope that he can be activated tomorrow before game 2 against these Giants, but still dealing with the aftermath of the concussion suffered in the early days of July. So he remains on the concussion IL as Josh Naylor looks at a first pitch strike at the knees.
Yeah, this is about that time where it really starts to click. All of a sudden in that second half, we know about the numbers he can put up, and he'll be nice addition to this lineup, that is for sure.
I mean, I think a lot of people who saw Julio get hit in the back of the head by that throw would not have believed at that time that it would result in him missing this much time. He seemed, at least in the moment, pretty unfazed by it. He ran into third base. He was all smiles, but then obviously after some adrenaline wore off and the effects of being drilled in the back of the head by a throw from a first baseman to a second baseman started to kick in. He did not feel right. So it's a good thing he's taking his time and making sure that all things are clear up there before he gets back to the box. But it has resulted in a considerable absence for Julio.
Yeah, it has. And I mean, going back to when he got hit in the back of the head, he was on third base and all thumbs up, all smiles, kind of like Emerson Hancock that last game when he took the ball off the finger, who had to get taken out of that game, ultimately. But the adrenaline wore off, and then in the dugout too. I think that was the other part of this as well. The symptoms carried on, and it's so tricky coming back from those concussions. Remember, you have to do this whole concussion protocol in spring training, then you do it a couple months into the season. to answer a bunch of questions and needs to match up.
Fouls off one of those curveballs from Roop, and it's still 3-2.
The other part of this is too, Gold. I mean, even going back to that last road trip, going 1-5, but just all the lefties stacked up, and you could see the Marlins and the Rays just deploying that lefty out of the bullpen. It would have been nice to have that right-handed threat, at the very least, just to back, just to stop that left-on-left matchup, which was a real struggle for the Mariners in this first half.
Long at bat for Naylor here to begin the bottom of the second. Well, the last time the Mariners were at home, they had that fantastic 5-1 homestand, but then it was all washed away, a 1-5 road trip. That ended the first half, both to Miami and then to Tampa. Over to first base, Devers plays that hop well. One away. A message now from AAA Washington.
At AAA, you already know we got cool trucks. But did you know we also have insane insurance? AAA Washington, become a member today.
Leadoff man retired in front of Cole Young. We know the offense has struggled for the Mariners in the first half of the season. They're 28th in baseball in the runs per game, which is certainly not where you projected them given how they ended last year and the additions to the roster this season. And we know all the reasons why, whether it be through missing time, injuries to certain players, or just simply underperformance. But if you were to play a game and you were to say, okay, how many guys do you see in this lineup on a regular basis have either matched or exceeded what would be a reasonable expectation for them halfway through the season? Unfortunately for the Mariners, there aren't many, and that's why they're 28th in baseball in runs per game. But one of them you would certainly say would be Cole Young in his first full season in the big leagues. He has been fantastic. Obviously, his defense received such acclaim early on this year because it was such a drastic improvement. But what he's been able to do with the bat as well has been as steady as they come. Even though he's had to ride the wave a little bit, the numbers overall this year have been really, really strong for the young second baseman for the Mariners.
Yeah, they have. And I think one of the things, too, you mentioned the struggles, right? So sometimes you want to see that. You're going to see that from Cole Emerson a little bit, too. He has struggled a little bit. But can you answer back? Once the league adjusts to you a little bit like they did, you mentioned Cole Young the month of May, and he answered back, had that really good month of June. We started to see a little bit more of the power as well. The checking boxes, man. We're talking about can he handle plus velocity. He's been handling the fastball really well. Left on left. He's been playing every single day, handling lefties.
And the ability to hit the fastball has been a drastic improvement for Cole Young from his debut season last year to this. Two 2-0 to Luke Raley. Just off the plate. Remember, the Giants are out of challenges already, 3-0. Mariners are down to just one. Looked like that got in on Raley a little bit, and yet this is to the wall and caught by Gilbert right up by that yellow line. Raley nearly muscled it out. Mariners TV is presented by PIMCO, the insurance you get. Learn more at PIMCO.com. StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. We take a closer look at those 4 strikeouts early on from Bryce, all on the 4-seamer.
Yeah, I love it. What a good sign this is, especially starting that second half, especially bouncing back from that rough one in Miami where he got 0 swing and miss. On that 4-seam, he had to that second time to the lineup. He started to see the sweeper and the split, got away from that attack mode. So this is a great sign for Bryce kicking off the second half in this game against the Giants.
Drew Gilbert leads things off. On the ground, there is Cole Young, short toss over to first base, and very efficiently 1 pitch and 1 away. Well, it has been such a spectacular start to this year for Bryce Miller. If you look at the highest strikeout to walk ratios this season among starting pitchers, Tarek Skubal leads the charge, and then Bryce Miller right in front of the Miz, Drew Rasmussen, and Christopher Sanchez, who started the All-Star game for the National League. Obviously, it's a lower inning total for Bryce, given the fact he started the year on the injured list.
I'm not going to lie, Goldie. I was kind of hoping maybe there could be a sneaky Bryce Miller to the All-Star game. I'll say that after the fact. But I know the innings total. But look, Jacob Mizorowski last year was added to that. He'd been that new prospect coming up. But I was kind of hoping, is there enough innings under his belt to maybe get the nod? But he's been elite since he's come back.
Well, he really has. It's been pretty remarkable what he's been able to do until that last start. Everything had just been absolute cruise control for Bryce Miller. He has been exceptional here at home. He's making just his 5th start at home this season, and opposing batters are hitting .095 against him. Granted, a small sample, but it has been pure dominance. Facing Drew Kavanaugh, number 9 hitting catcher.
And just listening to him, going back to Miami, having a conversation with him, talking about his confidence. Talked to his pregame about that, glancing up on that, checking out that velocity on the scoreboard, seeing where it's at. Last year in 25, you'd see it 93, 94, and just try and muscle through it. Now he's looking up 96 to 98s. Confidence goes through the roof.
Bryce would like a new ball.
And obviously, it's not just about, oh, hey, am I throwing harder? It's about feeling right. You feel like you're competing at max capacity. Makes such a difference.
That is a little bit low, and Kavanaugh draws the walk. So a walk to the 9-man, not what Bryce wanted. 1 out and 1 on. Watch Mariners baseball all summer long with Mariners TV. Fans in Washington, Oregon, Montana, Idaho, Alaska, and Hawaii can stream regular season games for just $54.99 for the rest of the season. National exclusivities apply. You can start streaming today at mariners.tv. Top of the order now. Hey, speaking of national exclusivities, there's one tomorrow, 5:08 the first pitch time. Tomorrow's game will be nationally televised on Fox, so a little bit of an odd start time because of that. It'll be Brian Wu versus Logan Webb. What a pitching matchup that will be. Luis Arraez with 1 out and 1 on. He pulls this into right field for a base hit. Raley goes over there to scoop it up, but the Giants now threatening. They've got him on the corners with 1 away.
Luis Arraez, that elite back to ball skill, the best in the game, has really leaned into this skill set. The on base isn't through the roof, but the batting average obviously always hovering above 300. And all of a sudden the Giants are in business.
And they've got him on the corners for the number 2 hitter, Bryce Eldridge. Close miss, down and in. Back foot slider, ball 1. Popped up. Cole Young waits for it and makes the catch. 2 away. Dangerous hitter retired.
Yeah, good pitch right there. Runner staying put. A little bit too much of the strike zone, but that was the pitch. He was trying to get him out that first time up, being Bryce Eldridge. He'll take it.
I believe, as Casey Schmidt climbs in here, it was Schmidt who we were kind of slack-jawed watching take batting practice today, as he was parking one fly ball after another into the second deck. And not just to the front row, but like midway up. Fouls that one back.
Yeah, doing it with ease too. Looked like he's just kind of flicking his wrist. The ball was just jumping off that bat.
No, it was really something to see. Just one after another. 19 home runs for Schmidt. 2 outs, 2 on. No score, top of the 3rd. Second time through the order for Bryce Miller. Stays away, misses though, 1-1. Schmidt, a former second-round draft pick out of San Diego State, West Coast guy. And he lifts this out to straightaway center field. Robles turning around, spinning, and getting to the warning track. Ballpark holds this one. And Robles makes the catch, and Miller gets out of a jam. He strands him on the corners. Down to the bottom of the third. We'll be seeing Colt Emerson bat second when we come back. Well, the insurance you get brought to you by Pimco Insurance. We take you back to the bottom of the first of the All-Star game in Philadelphia. And how about Dylan Cease starting the game for the Blue Jays? Of course, the Mariners had just seen him not too long before that, and he struck out the side. It was really impressive. It was pretty cool. Fox put a microphone on Cease and Shea Langoliers, the A's catcher. So they mic'd up the starting battery, and you could actually hear them talk back and forth to one another about, hey, what do you think we should throw here? Another fastball? Okay, with that. And no need for pitch com in that first inning for Dylan Cease. They just had the wire going. Foul ball, 0-2 on Robles. Cease is one of those guys, you could say this about obviously a lot of elite starting pitchers, where you just would love to see what they could do if you told them, hey, you got one inning, go air it out.
For sure. Yeah, he's a great candidate for that. He might walk like 5 dudes.
It's true. That's true. Oh, 0-2 the count to Victor Robles. He waves and misses, chasing that curveball we were talking about earlier. First strikeout for Roop. A message now from Hyundai.
Enjoy your new car.
Thanks. Gotta run. Okay, bye.
Deal so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Yeah, I was watching the All-Star game with my son, and who's 11 now, and they popped up the stats, the season stats, of course, for Dylan Cease, and they showed his strikeout numbers, 148. And my son saw that, and he turned his head to me and he said, 200 strikeouts is like really good, right? Like, yes, and he's almost there already, and it's the All-Star break. There's a reason why he's starting the All-Star game. He's had just a remarkable year. Believe it or not, and I found this hard to believe when the rosters came out, it's his first All-Star nod. Dylan Cease.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, he's always been one of those guys that, you know, when you talk about top 5s, top 10s, you know, all different kinds of categories, especially the strikeouts, he's always right there. Yeah, we had a chance to see him. I mean, he dominated that start here in Seattle right before the break. I'll tell you what, this is one guy you'd love to see who's had some struggles heading into the break. Colt Emerson. Turn around a little bit and get off to a good start in the second half.
Well, what happened to Colt was probably one of the most predictable things in baseball, right? Young rookie comes up, makes an immediate impact and splash, ends up hitting for substantially more power than I think anybody would have thought initially out of the gates. The doubles, the home runs, and then the league starts to adjust.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? You know, there's one guy in that dugout. You always talk about, hey, talk to the veterans, but when you can talk to more of your peers, what I mean by that is, you know, Cole Young, for example. All right, Cole, you went through this a little bit last year, and you actually went through a little bit this year as well. You know, what do you got? Because kind of lean into that information, because you mentioned it too. Look, Colt Emerson, they started attacking him the same way, and a lot of that was heaters up. That was a pitch that he was really struggling with as you head into the break. But look, sometimes it just takes a little bit of that turn in the corner with cheat to that one pitch, that one fastball up. They can change everything, and especially that approach against you.
Good take by JP, 2-0.
But I think sometimes when I went through some struggles, you know, and talk to the veteran players. Sometimes you just relate better to guys who are closer to your age or where you're at in your career. It helps. You know, guys who are just a few months ahead of you, or even just 1 year ahead of you, and you can kind of relate with some of those rookie struggles. It'd be good to see him get off to that good second half.
Wow, that was a clinic on taking close pitches from J.P. Crawford. Ends up walking on 4 pitches from Roop. A 2-out base runner brings up Arozarena, our key bank stats. We talked about Randy swinging a hot bat going into the break. Randy hit .333 in his last 11 games. Huge on base, nearly .460, slugging well over .600. You can see where that compares to the league average this year in all 3 slash line categories. A pretty remarkable 11-game stretch for Randy. Not the first time this year he's been on some kind of heater.
I think with Randy too, compared to last year, look, he had a good year last year, don't get me wrong, but there was very streaky Goldie. It was like where he was going off for 10 games and then all of a sudden there was a ton of swing and miss for the next 6. It's been way more consistent this year in 2026. It hasn't had those big up and downs. Yeah, not to mention too, he showed that last 11, been nursing that sore hamstrings, had to slow him down a little bit, play under control.
I'd say JP's not far off the bag. Pretty close pitch there. Goes the Mariners' way, 2-1. Randy does have one of the highest ground ball rates in baseball, 10th highest in fact, and I think that kind of underscores in a lot of ways even more how impressive that first half was for Randy. It can be pretty hard to do as much damage as he has done when he hit the ball on the ground as much as he has, and he grounds out. But a fantastic first half for Randy Arozarena, putting together another all-star campaign. Bryce Miller getting the ball tonight to begin the second half. 3 scoreless in the books.
Casino and Hotel.
Mariners TV is brought to you by your local Ford dealer, home of the F-150, America's best-selling truck for 49 years. Devers leads it off. Swing and a miss at the top of the zone. 0-1. Plenty of swing and miss early on tonight from Bryce. Able to strand a pair of runners. He left them on the corners in the 3rd. Elliot Ramos due up next. Bryce on an 0-2.
That's the same pitch he punched him out that first at bat. Elevated fastball.
He goes right back upstairs and strikes out Devers for the 2nd time. And he was hanging out on that top rail the entire at bat practically.
Yeah, just wore him out for the 2nd time up there. I was thinking to myself, okay, he's going to try and go split. Talked about him getting away from some of that attack last time out.
What do you think it is when a starting pitcher in Bryce's case, who has such a big fastball in so many ways? We mentioned in his last start he did not have a single swing and miss on that pitch, compared to tonight where we've seen plenty. What do you think the difference is in situations like that?
Man, it's tough. A lot of it comes down to command, right? So we talked about that, you know, the heater last time out, and I think he was ended up in the middle of the plate. You got a team like the Marlins who make a ton of really good contact, and you know, they're jumping all over that pitch early. They're kind of essentially cheating on that pitch. In 2nd time, 3rd time, you got away from that. You started to go into the sweep and the split. I think if you can find it early, especially in that first inning where you get that good swing and miss where the pitch doesn't have to be perfectly located, but if it's somewhere middle up, you kind of get that little invisible swing, your confidence shoots up with it and you feel like you can live in that area. I think with Bryce last time out, when you started giving up all that contact early, you got away from that fastball instead of staying with it.
Well, there's been a noticeable difference tonight. More of the Bryce Miller we've been accustomed to seeing. The 1-2. Doesn't chase.
The other thing too, Goldie, is when you go back to that last outing, I always talk about the backspin on that pitch. That's what makes it so elite. When he's 2,600 RPM. Well, last time out, velocity was down maybe a tick, but the backspin was really down in the 2,400s. I think that was the biggest difference as well.
Hit on the ground, backhand play. Colt Emerson made it look pretty easy. 2 outs.
And when you can get that backspin on that fastball, it defies gravity, gets above the barrel. And really the only contact you're going to give up, you're either going to give up that little pop-up, or Ramos trying to cheat where he tries to get his hands on top of that ball and he's just going to hit it on the ground just like that.
Does the velocity lead to the backspin? So if your velo down, your spin is clearly going to be down?
There is correlation to that for sure. However, some guys, look, they can live 92, 93 and have really good backspin. And the same on the other side. You can have 98 and you don't have that backspin, but there is a correlation for sure. So when your velocity is down a little bit, you're going to naturally lose some of that acceleration through release and some of that backspin for sure.
Jung-Hoo Lee, the batter, he singled his last time up. One of 2 Giants hits. They've both been singles so far tonight. On the corner, well located.
And you see Jung-Hoo Lee about to get tapped the helmet, but they're out of challenges. See if that plays a factor. I know it's only the 4th inning, but late in this game.
He went down and got that one. He's 2 for 2. 2-out base hit. Well, on August 8th, the Mariners are hosting one of the biggest events of the year. It's 50th season celebration night presented by Daktronics. You can witness an iconic gathering of franchise greats as the top 50 Mariner players are unveiled and honored right here at T-Mobile Park. Mariners.com/50. This will be an enormous event. Pre-game on the 8th of August when the Rays come to town. Willie Adames climbs in. 2-out single keeps the inning alive.
We got a chance to see Joel Pinheiro pregame.
He'll be throwing out the ceremonial first pitch tomorrow. This is popped up. Cal Raleigh is out of room. This is into the crowd. Joel was on the last team in baseball that used only 5 starting pitchers for the entire season. That was back in the early 2000s with the Mariners. 2003, Ryan Franklin, Freddie Garcia, Gil Mesh, Jamie Moyer, and Joel Pinheiro. 2 outs and a man aboard. On the ground, Naylor has it. All that being said, the Guardians have only made 5. Only used 5 different starting pitchers this year, so something to keep an eye on. When we go to the bottom of the 4th, Canzone, Cal Raleigh, and Josh Naylor will bat. Well, this smile moment is brought to you by Delta Dental of Washington, supporting healthy smiles across Washington. We got a shark in the salmon race. What's going on over here? That's a pretty undersized shark, right?
Yeah, what's that little reef shark? Was it Mako shark?
Those are 2 good pulls right away. Dom Canzone leads it off. If we ever, we know the right people, Hyphen. If we ever could line it up where you could be in the salmon race, would you be into that?
100%. Oh yeah, for sure. I'll dress up in that right there. Little shark outfit. I don't know if I'd fit in that one.
Big bouncer. Devers gets to it and makes a clean throw. And Canzone is out. One down to begin the bottom of the fourth.
Landon Rube, just as advertised, a lot of soft contact. Weak ground balls against that sinker. Cal Raleigh last time up. That little check swing comebacker.
Yeah, you look at the things that Roop has been really good at this year. It's limiting the hard hit. It's staying off the barrel and getting ground balls. And by and large, he's done that so far tonight. It's been kind of a wild ride for Roop this year in many ways. He got off to a really terrific start this season. Cal pops this up and it gets out of play. He generally pitched very well, Roop did, through the end of May. In fact, when June 1st rolled around, Roop's ERA was at 3.30. Just about any starting pitcher would take that, but had a brutal June. He had an ERA over 7 for the month. And here's the wild part. He only allowed 3 home runs and had an ERA north of 7. Well, that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And you talked about that curveball earlier. There was a period there in June where teams are just sitting on that curveball. It is a good pitch. Gets plenty of swing and miss, but it is slow. It's a pitch you can pick up early. That pitch right there, it's got that big bend to it. Teams are starting to sit. He was becoming a little bit more predictable. Start adding that cut fastball in to get off the barrel. You can tell a lot of soft contact here early in this game.
He's used that changeup quite a bit so far tonight, and he gets Cal Raleigh to fly out to center field. 2 down. There comes Josh Naylor. Mariners are looking for their first hit. A couple of walks. That's been it. Canzone and Crawford. Good take just off the lower outside corner for ball 1. Naylor lengthy at bat his first time up, but grounded out to first base. Like Naylor thought that two-seamer was running in on him off the plate, but then it came back over and clipped the edge. Well, this works out. First hit of the night for the Mariners. Naylor pokes it into left field for a 2-out single.
Man, you'll take it all day long. We talked about that rough road trip. You're exhausted. You get to that break. You want to come back and put up a bunch of runs straight out the gates, and all of a sudden you get no hit into the fourth. But see where the third baseman's playing, pulled all the way over on the pull side.
Schmidt was playing shortstop. Hit number 1 for the Mariners tonight. Here comes Cole Young. Young pulls this down the line and pulls it foul. Kind of feels like Cole's been around for a while at this point. This is his first full season, but you think about it, he barely has a full 162 under his belt. Former first-round draft pick by the Mariners. Tonight's his 175th career big league game. Made his major league debut last year on the final day of May. Brushes him back. Cutter up and in.
Now this pitch getting up and in. You can see Kavanaugh behind the plate telling him to step off because Josh Naylor was bouncing off that first base bag, being aggressive. We saw plenty of that in the first half. See him right here just doing the typical Josh Naylor, nonchalant, trying to bounce off.
Golfed into center field. Gilbert is underneath it and makes the catch. Mariners leave their first hit stranded. Naylor remains at first. After 4, Mariners and the Giants scoreless.
The life you live.
Well, they might have a giant name, but a Washington's lottery win can buy you a giant-sized yacht to cruise the Sound. Imagine living the high life. Played today. Now that nearly got out. Luke Raley, a fly ball out to the wall in center field earlier tonight. And here is the man who made that catch, Drew Gilbert. Missing down and in, 2-0. Now that is some big league eye black. That's a fair ball, and Naylor able to gobble it up. 1 down. Well, today the Mariners Care Foundation launched the Mariners Summer Showcase auction featuring many items like an Andres Munoz meet and greet and Woodland Park Zoo Big Cat Experience, a King Griffey Jr. autographed skateboard deck, Mariners Alumni Home Run Derby experience, and a whole lot more. Net proceeds of the auction benefit the Mariners Care Foundation, the Mariners nonprofit organization that works to advance inclusion and opportunity across King County and throughout our region. So good stuff there by the Mariners Care Foundation. Up and in, well located fastball to Kavanaugh for strike 1. Kavanaugh, very young big league catcher, has played in just a dozen games in his career. Remember, the Giants had arguably the best defensive catcher in the game in Patrick Bailey. Platinum Glove Award winner. They traded him to the Guardians earlier this year in the midst of the season. Mariners saw Bailey when the M's were in Cleveland not all that long ago. Swings have already lost his elbow guard.
Yeah, it's kind of well, I wouldn't call it strange, but on both sides, really, when you saw, Bailey, really good defensive catcher, was not swinging it, and then the Guardians decided to take a chance on him.
Traded him for a draft pick and lefty pitching prospects. This ball finds some grass in right field. Kavanaugh works it for a base hit. That was a tough pitch to get to. He's aboard for the second time.
Yeah, it's the pitch. Snuck on the inner half of the plate. That fastball's been so tough from Bryce Miller, but keeping those hands inside. But you think about these Giants too. When that trade happened, you were starting to think to yourself, all right, man, the Giants pulling the pin already on this season. It has been a struggle, but a lot of these players, especially the guy at the plate right now, Luis Arias, will be part of those trade talks coming up here at the end of the month.
Well, Arias, one of the great hitters for average in baseball. He won 3 straight batting titles, the first coming in the year 2022. And if you look at from that time until now, there have only been 5 players in the game to bat 300 from 2022 until where we stand today. And Arias, the clear outlier, batting 320. I think some of the other names on this list, Hyphen, are remarkable. The combination of hitting for average and power. Freeman, Judge, now Yandy Diaz maybe not quite so much, but then of course Jordan with the Astros. You look at Freeman, Judge, and Alvarez. That's pretty remarkable for the amount of damage and slug that they carry to go along with their ability to hit for an average.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too, just back to Luis Ariz on this too. You look at all these other names on there, just superstars that can beat you in multiple ways, not just obviously with the batting average, kind of that lost art of hitting above 300. Not many guys do it anymore in the big leagues. And I talked about this last time Luis Ariz was up, just leaning into that skill set. Sometimes you think, hey, look, is there any way we can get the on base up a little bit, because you do have that skill of putting the ball in play.
I think he's upset that this will hurt his average. It almost was dropped. Robles and Rayleigh near collision there.
Because you think the on base is just around 370 with the average around 330. It doesn't give a whole lot of room there. The other way you get on base via the walk.
I've never seen somebody upset to fly out to center field in my life. Ariz now 1 for 3. Which still isn't bad. So 2 outs, Kavanaugh at first, and here is Bryce Eldridge. High fly ball deep to the gap, right center field. Robles is out of room, and this ball is gone. It's a 2-out, 2-run home run from Bryce Eldridge. Now the Giants take a 2-0 lead here in the 5th inning.
This is tough when Bryce Miller is cruising. But you look at this pitch. This is split middle of the plate. This is the pitch he got away with against Bryce Eldridge last at bat. That little pop-up, and not this time. Trying to pitch and throw this split early in the counts, finish him off with that heater. Eldridge was sitting on it.
Bryce Miller had allowed all of 1 run at home this year in 4 starts. Gives up a 2 spot there on that swing. Here's Casey Schmidt. Ball and a strike to the Giants' third baseman. Home run number 9 for Eldridge this year.
And you think about it too, look, Bryce, just that one mistake, he was so sharp up until that single from Kavanaugh that kept that inning going. Excuse me, flipped the lineup over to Ariz, and then Eldridge, that little hanging split.
Well, this is into center field and a base hit. So Schmidt, the 3rd hit this inning.
And Bryce is taking another look to see if they're showing that replay. See what that pitch was. Wasn't bad, just a little bit too much at the plate. Don't know how much contact this team can make. It's going to be an interesting at bat. You got Rafael Devers, who's been red hot this last month, and he's beating him twice with that hitter at the top of the strike zone. See if Devers starts to make that adjustment, try and catch that pitch elevated.
Well, maybe not where he's wanted it exactly, right over the plate. As the pitcher, do you say, I'm going to make you make an adjustment? Or do you start to mix it up here since it's the 3rd time through and you've approached him the same way twice now?
You got to be careful at this point in the game too, because not only is he pitching the same way to the one hitter, but Rafael Devers is paying attention to how he's pitching some of these other guys. What pitch is he really leaning on? And it has been that hitter. He's starting to see some of these Giants adjust a little bit. He's already quickly 0-2. Froze on those first 2 heaters. See if he elevates again.
Pitch is outside. Schmidt trying to take second base, and he gets in there safely. Emerson with an acrobatic catch on that throw from Cal Raleigh.
Well, I tell you what, Cole Emerson did a good job just to keep this ball in the infield. This ball was starting to sail. Get a better look at it behind the plate. See how that ball just starts to sail away from Colt. Plus, he's got the runner he's got to contend with as well. And that could have been dangerous right there, getting it. Schmidt into third base.
Schmidt, one of the few guys who will run. Giants 28th in baseball in stolen bases. This is out to the gap, left center field. Robles is there, gliding to make the catch. Covered a lot of ground. Damage has been dealt by the Giants. Bryce Eldridge, he goes out to the J-Rod squad in right center field, and the Giants are in front 2-0. Mariners TV is presented by PIMCO, the insurance you get. Learn more at PIMCO.com. Luke Raley leads it off for the Mariners, bottom third of the order. 2-0 Giants leading after the home run by Bryce Eldridge in the top half of the frame. This ball finds grass in left field.
See what, Luke Raley starting to swing it again, just like he did. You know, going back to the month of May, had a really rough June and even into July, had to battle with some injuries. This is a nice piece of hitting off just the end of the bat, drive that ball into left field.
Sets the table now for Victor Robles. Second hit tonight for the Mariners. Victor showing butt pulling back and taking low for ball one. Drops the bunt down here. Roop throws to second, and they get the out at second base. Not what Victor was trying to do.
Yeah, anywhere but back to the pitcher in this situation too, especially when you got some speed on the bases, because what you can do if you get this extra bounce right here, all of a sudden then Root is going to rush that throw, especially with Raley. Again, Victor Robles just a little firm back, right back to Root.
Well, now Victor trying to make up for it and get himself into second base, and he's caught stealing. Adames with a tag, no argument from Victor. Well, that is not a great sequence for the Mariners, to say the least.
Yeah, and Kavanaugh has had some struggles throwing guys out behind the plate in his short big league career, but this is just a situation whether it's Victor Robles with his Mariners team just pressing, trying to force the issue. They're down by 2. You're going to come into this second half and into this game where you felt right offensively. Do some of the little things, but man, that's a huge blow right here in the 5th, trying to get something going.
I mean, it's pretty wild. You have the leadoff man reach, and then what? 3 pitches later, there's 2 outs and the bases are empty.
Especially to a guy like Roop, who, you know, he has the struggles when he's throwing a boatload of pitches. When you can see a lot of 3-2 counts, that's where he starts to give in. That's where that sinker starts to flatten out. We're seeing a lot of early contact, a lot of soft contact.
Well, you think about Roop in context with what the Mariners will see the next couple of nights. Logan Webb tomorrow. Robbie Ray, the former Mariner, a lefty, will be going in the series finale. So this would be a good one to get tonight,
for sure.
Point being, two and 2 to Cole Emerson. Arise has it. And the sign is retired. Group faces the minimum. Good day to be down at the market. Mariners beginning the second half tonight against the Giants. Mariners trailing after 5.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced, transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners.
We begin the top of the 6th inning. Giants have a 2-0 lead. Opening game of this 3-game series. Elliot Ramos leads it off. Crawford can't get to it. Leadoff single for Ramos. Good news within the division. A couple of rivals are losing tonight. The Astros and maybe more notably the Rangers. So if the Mariners can come back and win this game, they'll be a half game back of first place. Chris Sale went 7 shutout against Texas. The Rangers lost that game 15-1 in Atlanta. Not the way that they had envisioned open up half number 2. In fact, that game was so bananas that a Braves reliever, Victor Medeiros, not only did he pitch the final 2 innings, that's not the headline. The headline is that he drove in 2 runs. Double play ball. Miller. It's low. Under his glove, and the Mariners will have to settle for 1 out and a runner at second base now.
Yeah, that would be huge. Bryce Miller giving up that leadoff hit. Then you see some weak contact on the ground. You get yourself over to first base. Thinking to yourself, all right, I got a quick 2 outs, cruising. You see that ball trickle towards that Mariners dugout. You're going to come up with some pitches with runners in scoring position. All right, Goldie, explain to me, how is he?
Yeah, no, it's a fair question.
How is he hitting in this game? What's the deal?
Well, the Braves wanted to get Matt Olson off of his feet. So they removed him, their first baseman, from the game, and they moved their DH to first base, which meant that the pitcher had to hit. And you know, you're up by 1 million and it's late, so it's like whatever. Just hold the bat and strike out if you want.
Or drive in too.
Or drive in too. Rip one to the gap, I guess. So pretty impressive. Victor Medeiros having himself a night. Kyle Higashioka pitched the final inning for the Rangers, their catcher. So that meant it was, as Adames climbs in, we had a reliever driving 2 runs off of a position player. Now that is not your typical night at the ballpark.
No. Still.
Oh, 2. Bullpen has started to move around for the Mariners now. Another foul ball, still 0-2. One out man at second base for the Giants. Lee, a good runner.
It's a situation you got to bury a breaking ball right here to Adames. He's really struggled against any secondary pitch. There's a guy with the hitter. You can see where Cal Raleigh was setting that glove up. We've seen this the last couple innings from Bryce Miller where he hasn't been able to get that fastball to the top of the strike zone. This is out over the middle of the plate.
Pulled foul.
Now, as good as he's been as we get into the 6th inning, 85 pitches. running in scoring position. This might be one of the biggest at-bats of his night.
Does not chase that high fastball. 2-2.
Stand on the attack. You can see the bullpen. You look over that right shoulder, you see the bullpen going. So now your pitches are limited. Empty the tank right here, get through 6.
4 straight lefties due up after Adames.
I'm kind of surprised he keeps attacking with that hitter. 8 of the 15 home runs. Sorry, excuse me, the 12 home runs against righties have been on that fastball. He's hitting 293.
Pulled and foul.
And you can see Cal too, just banging the ground with that glove, trying to get him below the strike zone. That's part of what builds up. So you can have your scouting report against your hitters, but if you're not executing some of these pitches, you see the pitch sequence right here, going split, 4-seam, trying to get that sweeper below the strike zone, everything kind of hanging out middle of the plate.
A wave and a miss, chasing a splitter off the plate. A big strikeout for Bryce Miller.
Yeah, this is huge. And again, Cal trying to get him to get that breaking ball below the strike zone, couldn't do it. Go back to that split, especially when Adames is in swing mode. A big punch out.
So 2 outs and a man aboard. Here is Drew Gilbert. You know, that big velocity we saw from Bryce his first few times out this year has seemingly gone away. It's been a lot of sitting kind of 94 to 96. We haven't seen that upper end velocity that we saw early on from Bryce in a little while.
Yeah, and you knew it was going to dip a little bit.
And he hit him at 94 and looked like that might have caught Cal a little bit too. Man, that was 2 for 1. And the Mariners are wanting to find out if this hit the bat or not.
Yeah, see if he hit the knob under the hand. Clearly off the elbow guard. It looks like this is going to be it for Bryce Miller. The Kavanaugh, the lefty, coming up.
Now Bryce had a chance for a full 6 innings, but a 2-out hit batter. 2 outs and 2 on. We've got a pitching change. Ferrer's coming in. We'll step aside.
Blue.
Our Western Washington Toyota pitching matchup. Here's what it looks like so far. Rube 5 innings, just a 2 hits scoreless. Meanwhile, Miller out of the game. Knocked around a little bit, scattered 7 hits, just 2 runs, but responsible for both men on base. And he gives those runners over now to Jose Ferrer. Ferrer will inherit 2 with 2 outs. But our Muckleshoot Casino Resort pin report, the Mariners bullpen through the first half of the season has been in good shape in terms of innings pitched. They've not been asked to pitch very many at all. In fact, they've pitched the fewest innings of any bullpen in baseball this year. The Giants cracked the top 5 as well, with the Mariners rotation working a lot of innings this year, and that's helping the bullpen.
Yeah, and you know, being a man down as well, and you look at that and say, well, look at these piggyback days, but they didn't really go to the piggyback a whole lot in this bullpen. In that one man short, not having to cover a whole lot of innings. Big thanks to how good the rotation has been, how deep the rotation has been getting in the games.
1 ball and 1 strike. Kavanaugh, the number 9 hitting catcher, has had a good night so far. He has walked and singled. Giants trying to extend their 2-0 lead with 2 outs and 2 on in the 6th inning.
Speaking of the bullpen, that last game in Tampa, they had to go some extra innings. Emerson Hancock was knocked out of the game. This man right here, Ferrer, had to cover an inning plus.
Yeah, the only good news, he had the All-Star break to recoup. That was a heavy workload after Hancock tried to barehand that ground ball. 3-1. Now Ferrer really missing away a number of times to the lefty Kavanaugh, and now you got to face the master of contact, Luis Ariz. This is not somebody you will likely strike out. You just hope that he hits it at somebody. He's 1 for 3 so far tonight. Bases are loaded, 2 down. Now here comes Cal. That was the miss. It seemed like almost every time to Kavanaugh.
Yeah, everything's pulled on the glove side, so he's kind of yanking those pitches. And when Jose Ferrer is struggling with his command, this is the pattern you will see. And even that changeup and that four seam will have that little bit of cutting action to it, getting around on that pitch. Yeah, he went through this a little bit. There was a couple road trips ago where he just couldn't find the strike zone. The command got away from him, but it's usually, you're right, Goldie, it's usually that glove side where he's kind of yanking everything into that right-handed batter's box.
Two and 0. Well, this is not the guy you want to be facing right now. And now you got nowhere to put him.
Yeah, you're talking about Luis Ariz being at the plate, but don't let him beat you. Sometimes can't let yourself into these situations. 3-0. There it is. This is where you got to be careful too. Look, 3-1. As hard as it is, you can't find the strike zone. You're not even thinking about the hitter right here. You're just trying to get back inside the strike zone, get back on line here mechanically.
99 on the outer black, and it's a full count. Ariz has the lowest strikeout rate by far of any hitter in the big leagues. Bags packed, 2 outs. On a 3-2. Chopper softly hit, tough play, bobbled, and a run is in. Young having to combat the runner running right past him, Kavanaugh, and it's 3-0 San Francisco.
And you can see Cole Young coming in on this ball. You mentioned, dealing with the runner as well. This is a slow, slowly hit ball. He tried to that ball kind of handcuffed him a little bit. Trying to speed up with a rise down the line.
And as an error on Young, some really clever base running from Kavanaugh. You could see in that angle. Here's Eldridge as he kind of was chopping his steps as a way to create some type of smoke screen, a deterrent for Cole Young, and it worked out. Creates a run for the Giants and keeps the inning alive. So that run property of Bryce Miller scores. Well, you knew that he would put it in play, Ariz that is. You just hoped that it would be an easier play than that. Ground ball, it ticks off Ferrer, and wow, how about that? A turn of fortune for the Mariners as it finds Colt Emerson running right on top of second base. A prayer answered. 3-0 Giants. Last 2 balls in play for the Giants. Here you see the chopper from Ariz, and Kavanaugh creating the distraction over at running to second base. And now on this play, the Mariners do catch a break as it deflects off Ferrer's glove to the perfect spot. So a run does come in for the Giants, but it could have been worse. 3-0 San Francisco now. Top of the order for the Mariners, 3rd time through for Roop. Unfortunately for the Mariners tonight, it has looked a lot like the first 97 games of the season. No runs on 2 hits beginning the 6th inning. And both hits have been singles. Two and two. Well, the Mariners would love to find a way to force Tony Vitello's hand in the bullpen this inning. Pitch count just over 80 for Root. Now this is not a good bullpen for the Giants. Even though they have worked among the fewest innings in baseball, it's a bullpen 22nd in ERA. Nearly dead last in strikeout rate. They have walked among the most batters of any bullpen in the majors. 3-2. And they say that he goes around. J.P. Crawford strikes out. One away. That brings up Randy. Tonight, Chevy Silverado drive of the game. Randy in his second straight All-Star game, the third of his career. Finishing the night 1 for 2, including this firm knock right up the middle in Philadelphia. Good to see you from Randy, representing the Mariners. And how great is it that Major League Baseball is back to wearing,
I love it,
individual team uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one thing about watching those All-Star games. As a kid, you remember seeing, the Mariners uni thrown to whoever, behind the plate. And then they switched it to having everyone wearing the same uniform. Wasn't a fan of that, as no one else was apparently.
Yeah, good on Major League Baseball for making that change and going back to how it was. There's something about seeing your team's uniform
for sure
represented in the All-Star game that everybody loves. Here's Canzone. This is deep but very foul towards right field. 0-1. Mariners 2 walks, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts tonight. Adames charges this. Side retired in order. Mariners making Layden Roop look pretty good tonight. 6 scoreless. This Sunday, Mariners 50 season pin series continues with 2000s pin day. First 10,000 fans will take home an Ichi meter collectible pin commemorating Ichiro's historic 2004 campaign. Thanks to KeyBank. Visit mariners.com/pins to get your tickets and check out the whole lineup. Our steel scoreboard, Giants leading 3-0, top of the 7th. McDavila takes over on the mound for the Mariners. Postgame fireworks tonight. 2000s.
That's my era.
Music
it's
edition.
Like Ichi pin. It's my time here, and good decade for music, right, Goldie?
There's no doubt. Upstairs. Ball 1 to Casey Schmidt, leading things off in the 7th. Was there Y2K hysteria in Australia?
Oh yeah.
This is a global thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You mean like the end of the world, whatever it was?
I mean, it could have been bad, hyphen.
It could have been, yeah. I was caught up in that.
2-1.
Had my dial up internet. Was that still dial up? Oh, I guess back in Australia we only got Wi-Fi a couple of years ago.
Now come on. Schmidt, firm single into left field. Leadoff man aboard. A message now from Jack in the Box.
Don't get FOMO. Get my Philly style bonus Jack combos and new Philly Munchie Meal.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Leadoff man aboard in front of Devers, 0 for 3. Currently riding a 16-game on-base streak. Is your mom or dad always on the dial-up when your girlfriend was trying to call you hyphen? And just killing your game? Just killing it.
No, I had 2 older sisters, so I was just, crushing the internet, just looking up random. I think I was on MySpace. My sister's boyfriends wanted to try and call the house. Not happening. Younger bros on doing MySpace. Do you know what MySpace is?
I remember MySpace.
Yeah.
Where it all began.
That's right.
0-2 on Devers. Then you had a puka shell necklace in your MySpace profile picture, surfboard in hand. Rayleigh charges in on this and makes the catch. Schmidt back to first base. 1 away, 1 on. Here is Elliot Ramos.
The Mariners just trying to get some kind of energy. Game 1 in here in the second half. Offensively, not a whole lot doing, just the 2 hits. Let's get to that point late in the game. Feels like it's that uphill battle. You're down by 3. They can creep into what you're doing defensively too, and you get on your heels a little bit. Creeps into what you do on the mound as well. And it's such a tough way to finish that first half. 1-5 down in Florida, running into 2 really tough teams.
Well, you certainly would like to make a statement on this homestand. The Mariners have played so well at home this season and have struggled so mightily on the road. If you look at the largest win percentage differential home to road this year, the Mariners have the 4th largest. They're 27-20 at home. They're 21-9 on the road. If you look at run differential, at home they're a +32. On the road they're a -16. So Mariners have gotten good work done at home. They're trying to figure out the road. Their last road series win was that sweep against the Athletics back in May? That's when the 8-game winning streak started. This ball is able to split the left side, and the hits keep on coming for the Giants tonight. Schmidt into second. Ramos 2 for 4 now on the night.
A little slider from Davila, just kind of staying up inside the strike zone. Yeah, but you think yourself, right, when all the struggles we've talked about it, there's that feeling in the clubhouse. I guarantee they probably had a little chat before the game. Dan Wilson had everyone in the clubhouse, and you're just trying to get some of that good rhythm, some of that good mojo going into the second half. You start the second half at home, you feel much better at home. The pitching's been better offensively. They've been better.
Jung-Hoo Lee gets hit, so the bases are now loaded. A couple of singles and a hit by pitch.
Yeah, that's slider hitting Jung-Hoo Lee in that knee. That's been the biggest difference for Davila. When he can land that pitch, execute that pitch, that's when he puts up zeros. That was one thing when he first got to the big leagues. They wanted to get that slider to a place where he could get some swing and miss. Wasn't getting a whole lot of it wasn't really getting any strikeouts at all. He was able to, once he came back up after he got that first big league save, the slider was that big difference. Big pitch for him.
Adames shoots this deep to the gap in right center field. This has not gone well tonight for the Mariners. It's a grand slam for Willy Adames. And what was a manageable 3-0 deficit has turned to a 7-0 Giants lead.
And Adames down the way. Know about that power? A couple 30 home run seasons. And again, there's that slider just kind of hanging out middle of the plate. Again, right center field. Blowing this game out. 7-0 Giants.
Drew Gilbert, the batter. Now, obviously, Davila is the one who threw the pitch. He gave up the grand slam. But I think there is, if you think about the way this game is played out, if the Mariners had done something offensively, truthfully almost anything offensively through 6 innings, it's not Nick Davila pitching in the 7th.
For sure.
And the Mariners have been held to no runs on 2 hits, and because of that, Dan Wilson has to go to that side of the bullpen. That includes Nick Davila, as he's waiting for his offense to do something tonight. But when you don't score any runs through 6 and you have just 2 hits, both of which are singles, then that ends up leading to having to go to a different bullpen decision. And hey, Davila's had some really nice moments for the Mariners. There's nothing to take away from him in his rookie campaign, but the scoreboard reflects what decisions, or dictates what decisions you make with your bullpen as a manager.
Yeah, and look, you're down by 3, and you mentioned too just the fact there's only the 2 runs, so that 3-run lead feels a lot more like 6 runs at the time. You go with Jose Ferrer trying to shut that inning down, and if you could score, yeah, sure. If you could put something up against Roop, all of a sudden you start going to that back end. But again, that's why those 3-run leads, especially games like this, man, they feel like they can be out of reach sometimes if the offense isn't doing a whole lot.
Back at the top of the order, and Luis arrives. One and one. So 2 outs and a man aboard. And a 4 spot thanks to the Adames grand slam.
And look, Davila, look, he's been sharp too. Last couple times out, going multiple innings, looked really good. This is a situation where it's just that one mistake. I mean, you can see he's off tonight. The command's not that good. The slider's kind of hanging out in the middle of the strike zone.
Now Rise is, man, hobbling after fouling that pitch off of him. You know, for people who are saying, well, okay, you use Ferrer to get yourself out of that jam, why not go to another leverage arm here? As you know, Hyphen, because you lived it, you can only go to leverage arms in certain situations, and the deeper a game goes, just simply mathematically by the odds, the fewer and fewer chances you have as an offense to mount a comeback.
Right, and that's what that was my point too. You know, talking about that 6th inning for the Mariners. You got JP punching out, Randy ground out, Dom Canzone ground out. You know, you put up a couple runs in that 6, yeah, sure. All of a sudden you stick around to that. You stick with that back end of the bullpen, but
well, you have the top of the order coming up.
Yeah, for sure, and that's what you're banking on. Get Ferrer, get yourselves out of that inning in that, you know, top of the 6th. Mariners can put together a run or 2. How about it?
Robles gets to it. Arise flies out. Damage dealt by Willie Adames in his grand slam at 7-0 San Fran as we stretch. Mariners TV is brought to you by the Washington Lottery. Here's to building a stronger Washington. Washington's lottery helps fund the WA grant. Free money for college, training, or apprenticeships when you play. All of Washington wins. A beautiful sunset here in our great city. Unfortunately, the scoreboard not looking so great. 7-0 Giants. Mariners have been held scoreless on just a pair of singles so far in front of a great Friday night crowd to begin the second half. Cal Raleigh leads things off. So Roop is back out there after a very quick 6th inning. He's faced the minimum the last 2 frames. He does not go around. Cal 0 for 2 tonight. Three straight pitches to miss to Cal. Bullpen is up for the Giants now. 91 pitches for Ruth. Hinches and Smith, lefty and a righty warming. Think Hinches can dunk?
I hope so, man.
It's a giant. That is off the plate and a leadoff walk.
You mentioned that quick 6th inning. Bought him the chance to come back out here for that 7th. Nice little leadoff walk. Root went 8 innings that last time. His last start against Toronto. Walks can be an issue, and the game can speed up on him a little bit.
Chance for 2, halfway to second, Adames to first. That kind of night.
Yeah.
Mariners been saying that too often this year.
Now I tell you what, too, you have a situation where you got Roop where he's, pushing towards, mid-90s in the pitch count, 4 straight balls, and now I'm telling you, Goldie, when you're pitching right now and you're starting to, your tank's empty. You're getting exhausted. All of a sudden, you walk a guy 4 straight pitches, then someone comes out, swings that first pitch. You're like, thank you, tip your cap. And all of a sudden, 2 quick outs. Man, the Mariners just giving him a chance to go deep into this game.
To be fair, any big league team can have a night like this, right, where you're shut out on just a handful of hits in the 7th inning. But it's the timing of this that really stings so much for every Mariner fan watching this at home, and obviously for every Mariner in uniform in that dugout. You're coming off a dreadful road trip to finish the first half where you were generally lifeless by and large offensively. The lack of offense has been the #1 storyline for the Seattle Mariners through almost 100 games this year. And then you come out to open up the second half of the season after everybody, you feel like you've had a chance to step back and reset and recharge, and it looks the same.
Yeah,
and that's why tonight feels as bad as it does right now.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that road trip.
Well, this is caught. Well, Roop faces the minimum yet again, and he works 7 shutout innings tonight inside T-Mobile Park to begin the homestand.
When it's time for
Brought to you by UW Medicine at Harborview, backed by research and innovation. UW Medicine delivers all care at this King County owned hospital. UW Medicine at Harborview, a higher degree of health care. Now the storyline tonight, a couple of deep flies by this Giants team. Eldridge, a 2-run shot to Adames. More recently, the grand slam. Here is Eldridge leading things off in the 8th. Cole Wilcox takes over on the mound.
And you see that Bryce Eldridge home run too. Up until that point, look, Bryce Miller was dealing. You had a situation where he was on cruise control, and then you feel like, all right, it's just that one mistake. And again, the floodgates open that 5th, 6th, and 7th inning for the Giants. Adames with that grand slam.
Really ties him up on a nasty back foot sweeper. Eldridge down on strikes. Good start for Cole Wilcox.
Yeah, good pitch. Down underneath those hands. Cole Wilcox getting a chance to pitch in this game. Down 7-0. Oh, you're talking about coming back from the break. Just a really tough road trip. And again, you weren't with us in Tampa Bay, but after that second game, Yeah, you left me hanging. But after that second game, I mean, we saw the Mariners dugout, everyone on the top step kind of draped over that railing. They were really feeling it, especially Cal Raleigh and co.
Yeah, because at that time they'd lost the first 5 of the road trip, right?
Man, it was tough. And again, just knowing, some of the bumps and bruises you had that first half. You talked about the offense, all the expectations coming out of spring training. Just kind of had that, scratching your head moment where it's like, how you turn this thing around. You come back, you got the Giants, a team you feel like you can take care of. And now all of a sudden, first game, 7-0.
Weak ground ball off the lip of the mound. Emerson is there. 2 outs. Well, don't miss your chance to sit in the J-Rod squad presented by Adidas. This special section at center field is available every game at T-Mobile Park, and on Tuesdays and Fridays like tonight you can score this t-shirt featuring a fresh design for the second half of the season. Mariners.com/J-Rod. Mariners are hoping that Julio is activated for tomorrow night's game on the concussion IL currently.
Talking over the Mariners mental performance coach Adam Bernero. Top step. Yeah, that'd be a nice little boost too. Just get Julio back in that lineup, some of that energy. He was swinging it too. 10 games before he hit the IL. Over 300 on base, around 430.
Byrne, former big league pitcher, in the dugout every night for the Mariners. Mental performance coach. We're seeing more and more in uniform in the dugout around the game. A wave and a miss. Wilcox, strong 8th inning, going through 2, 3, and 4 in this Giants order.
Listen to the heart.
Now Landon Roop certainly looked good tonight. He spun 7 scoreless with just those 2 hits.
Yeah, he was tough. A lot of soft contact. Mariners helping him out too in some of those at-bats, swinging at some first pitches. But a lot of change-ups. Nothing really straight. Curveballs.
Jason Foley is the new pitcher. That sinker really had some run to it. Does not go around, ball 1. (7-0) Giants. Now Foley, some pretty significant shoulder surgery. He is making not only his Giants debut, but he is pitching for the first time on a big league mound since 2024 when he made 69 appearances for the Tigers. That was a career high. So it was a pretty meaningful night for this guy.
Yeah, you see so many arm injuries these days. In the big league level, minor leagues, youth baseball. The shoulder injuries are so tough to come back from.
Almost a handoff that time by Arias. You don't see a ton of shoulders though anymore.
Yeah, ton of TJs. I'm not saying either of them are easy to recover from, but I'm telling you, the shoulder compared to, you talk to anyone who's had, shoulder injury, any kind of injury, especially surgery, compared to an elbow injury, man, the shoulder is so much tougher to return to full strength.
Hey, you wonder, for a player, obviously your major league debut is an unforgettable moment and something you'll share with your family forever. But for a guy like Foley tonight, who, I don't know, maybe when he last pitched in 2024 and had a significant shoulder injury, my guess would be that there was part of him who thought, am I ever going to get back?
Absolutely.
And so how does tonight compare for him to a night like a debut, which is obviously near the very top of any player's memory bank, but this might be just as good, if not better.
Yeah, and look, the adrenaline is pumping through you right now. I mean, look, it's 7-0. I was out of the big leagues for a couple of years. I had to claw my way back, and I remember the first time I was on that major league mound. It's so different anywhere you pitch, especially in the minor leagues, especially after all that time, that isolation coming back. I mean, we talked about that with Michael Rucker coming back this year with the Mariners. You get to that age too, where you feel like no one's going to give you another chance. But again, when you throwing upper 90s with that kind of sink, you will get chances. But yeah, it's tough. You just never think you're going to be back to full strength. That's for sure.
Well, he has been effective when out there. He had three straight seasons of at least 60 appearances. We mentioned 69 outings in 24. He had 70 appearances the year prior to that. He has been a workhorse for 3 straight seasons. And maybe it took its toll. 3-0 to Cole Emerson. I think about a guy like our good friend Charlie Furbush, lefty reliever who was excellent for the Mariners, and then one day it was over.
Yeah,
arm injury, and never was able to come back. He was so good at what he did. Unfortunately, Charlie's still in the area and part of the media scene these days around the Mariners. But you just never know, and especially something as fickle as being a major league relief pitcher.
Yeah, he was another guy who had the shoulder injury. You know, they say the percentage of coming back from shoulder injuries back to full strength is around 30%.
Did you just give a percentage of players to come back from shoulder?
No, I'm talking about like you know, say if you're a lefty who throws 95.
Okay.
And you have a shoulder injury, the chances of you coming back close to that is around 30%.
Well, you got some stats on you.
Oh, yeah.
What? You and Dr. Meister hanging out in the offseason? No, Ryan, let me tell you all the data here.
Well, I know, because every time I went in to talk to a doctor, I mean, back then, even now too, and you know, I follow a lot of this stuff. I mean, the amount of teenagers I've seen now with arm braces walking around town, and they've all had TJ or the internal brace surgery. It's shocking.
A strikeout to Emerson to retire the side. The Mariners have sent the minimum to the plate each of the last 4 innings tonight. Homestand beginning against the Giants. Off to a rough start. We go to the 9th. Well, to kick off the 50 season celebration weekend, we've got the Alumni Home Run Derby night presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. August 7th, it will take place after the game against the Rays. Ichiro. Now it says, and other former Mariners sluggers or left-handed pitchers compete in this post-game competition. Mariners.com/derby. Tell me you spent your entire All-Star break.
Every day.
Just in the cage.
Every day, just
hitting off the velo machine.
Now, I actually hit yesterday, matter of fact, at Blake Snell's family, the Seattle Select, at their facility yesterday.
Okay.
Shout out to them. Let me have a chance to get a couple reps in. But they had this machine. Well, it was like a pitching machine. That thing.
I'm with you so far. They had this machine. It was really similar to a pitching machine. Okay. All right. So tell me this advanced technology we're working with. One away.
No, that thing was just cranked, and I couldn't figure out how to turn it down. And the thing is, I'm like, man, is my eyesight going or what? Just getting absolutely doors blown off by this machine.
It was like a super fast pitching machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had the kids feed me at Lennox and Kennedy.
Okay.
Relaying
they do
balls.
the whole thing. Hey, really?
Drop it into the machine.
How fast do you think it was going? I mean, it had to have.
It was humming. It was close, and it was coming. I mean, like I said, it was close to 60 feet.
But you like that kind of training.
Oh yeah,
I know that's
me up.
Yeah, that's how you That's how you thrive.
That's right. All these
the intense stuff.
That's right. All these big leaguers now, they crank up that machine. So I'm like, I'm just going to do what they do. Yeah. So I was going to hit here though today, but the Giants decided to take BP at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Those darn major leaguers.
Yeah.
So now I'm sure Blake's facility has the highest end technology, like this device that's very similar to a pitching machine that you described. So did they have any type of 3D simulator that would tell you on the screen how far the ball was going, that would overlay it onto a ballpark of your choice, possibly like T-Mobile Park?
Man, I wish. Maybe I need to drop a few hints. I mean, Blake Snell, come on, you can get you a traject machine in there or something, surely. But no, they didn't have that. That would have helped.
Okay, but with your mind's eye, do you feel like some of them might have gone out?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is in a batting cage, right? You feel like, oh, I stung that one. But then, I didn't want to, find out, ask, nothing. Just let's keep it to that. Until I hit here. I want to hit on the field. When Ichiro's doing one of his sessions. Hopefully privately when no one can see it.
Michael Rucker is pitching in the ninth inning for the Mariners. 7-0 Giants, 1 out. Nobody on. Three and 2. Jung-Hoo Lee's been aboard 3 times tonight, including a pair of singles. He's got his own fan section in the house tonight. Are you sore the next day after you hit?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it wears you out for sure.
Well, I mean, what, 200-300 swings for you yesterday?
A lot.
Easily?
Way too many.
Hey, did you find a heavier bat?
I did as a matter of fact. I'm going to bust out a few sweet sticks. You will see them on August 7th, let me tell you.
By the way, sweet sticks is what a pitcher calls a bat.
Exactly. As soon as I said that, I was like, oh, God. Man.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've heard Julio refer to them as sweet sticks. Or Cal, or Randy, or Naylor. Let's see. This is kind of in between, and it drops in for a base hit. Lee landed the parachute well. It's his 3rd hit. A word now from AAA Washington.
At AAA, you already know we got cool trucks, but did you know we also have insane insurance? AAA Washington, become a member today.
So 1 out base runner for the Giants. Willie Adames is the batter. Oh, 2. A wave and a miss on a good breaking ball, and Adames disposed of pretty quickly. 2 outs.
That's a nasty breaking ball. It's a pitch that he will chase a ton. Really struggling against off-speed pitches this year, Willie Adames. We talked about the power. Hit that grand slam earlier. So that big deal to become a San Francisco Giant from the Brewers. 30 home run seasons.
Now Danny Farquhar will be the home run derby pitcher for everyone. Do you plan on hitting off Danny before the big event? I feel like that would be a very important thing.
I'd like to. I just want to hit here. I mean, I was going to have the chance today. Like I said, there's Danny.
Looking great as always.
That's all he's thinking about right now.
I'm going to punch some tickets to Hyphen. He's thinking about just high cheese.
No, trust me, I've spoke to him about this. I said, I need just 4-seam right down the middle. Right now, that's what he's thinking about.
Yeah, he is.
He's like, oh, man, I can't mess up. I know he wants to just out over the plate, just up a little bit, a little in.
He's like, Rock, how would you pitch him? How do you get that good backspin on your fastball? That's what Hyphen wants. Long hold here and an 0-2. I mean, think about it. When Cal won the Derby last year, he obviously hit off his dad. He's been hitting off his dad his whole life.
Right.
You've never seen Farquhar.
No, I never have. You're right. And by the way, too, like I said, I just need to hit here once, maybe twice, and I'll feel much better about going into August 7th.
This is gobbled up by Cole Young. If only you knew somebody. A man is left. Well, we can't wait. Out of the bottom of the 9th inning. Ford Sports Desk here inside the broadcast booth. Aaron Goldsmith, Ryan Roland Smith, and man, Hyphen. You come out of the All-Star break, you're at home, you got a great crowd.
Right.
You begin with a homestand against the Giants and the Reds to come, and you really are hoping that you come out with a kind of a statement of some kind. Unfortunately, the Mariners have fallen really flat tonight.
Yeah, you're coming off the tough road trip, going to the break. The offense has been, rocky the first half, so you want to come out and just try and, establish the fact you're at home, everything you said. But man, this is one of those games where, yes, you have to flush it straight away. Come back tomorrow. You cannot have those situations where you get out during batting practice and you start getting away from being present what you're trying to do. That's the biggest thing. Look, the San Francisco Giants, I was talking to some of the coaches over there before the game. That's one thing where the expectations out of spring training, they come into the season, they get off to that rough start, and all of a sudden everyone starts pointing fingers. They've had all kinds of drama that first half. But this Mariners team, they've been around each other for a long time, a lot of years now, being through ups and downs. So need to flush it quick, turn around and get it done tomorrow.
JP on the ground. Adames does not field it cleanly. Was circling around it and cannot come up with it. So JP is aboard to begin the bottom of the 9th inning.
I see Adames had plenty of time trying to backhand this ball. Not able to stick it. Ball staying on the ground.
That is an error on Adames. Has been plagued by those this season. And is now his 14th error this year. Only C.J. Abrams of the Nationals has more. Here's Randy. Caleb Killian is the new pitcher on the mound for the Giants. Well, Randy was walking away from the pitch. It was boxed by Kavanaugh, and JP is into second easily.
Yeah, just clank this ball. You see Randy just kind of stepping out as he does.
That go through his webbing?
Got through. He didn't replace the glove, did he? He just tightened that thing up. Yeah, went straight
right
through the pocket. Wow.
That's a little concerning given his line of work. Mariners have not had an at-bat with a runner in scoring position tonight. In fact, this is the first time they've had a man at second base all evening. Chasing 97 up and away. Oh for 1. Strike one to Dom. Really entertaining pitching matchup tomorrow in Game 2. Brian Wu versus All-Star Logan Webb, an All-Star for the 3rd straight season. And a reminder, that will be a 5 o'clock, 5:08 technically, first pitch. And a game nationally televised on Fox.
Who's calling that game tomorrow? Who's going to play-by-play? Aaron, you know?
I will be on the broadcast, Hyphen.
Nice.
Hope you enjoy your day off. Down and in, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Canzone. Yeah, what's your pitching opinion on this? What pitching matchup is of more interest to you? Brian Wu versus Logan Webb, or Logan Gilbert versus Robbie Ray, which is the finale?
That's a tough one. Well, Brian Wu has been good at home. I know he's had his struggles on the road. ERA over 6 out on the road, but he's been so dominant at home. Against Logan Webb having a huge year again.
2 outs.
I'm going to go tomorrow's game. How about that?
Well, both are excellent pitching matchups. So Wu tomorrow, 5:08 the first pitch time against Webb, and then Sunday we are on the air at 12:30. A 1:10 first pitch as usual. Logan Gilbert versus the former Mariner Robbie Ray. Wu having a front row seat watching this one tonight. There's Cal Raleigh. JP into third on the play. Strike one. Tell you what, Robbie Ray and his manager are pretty similar looking guys. As Cal wants to challenge this.
Pitches the ball. Seattle has 1 challenge remaining.
So instead of 0-2, 1 ball and 1 strike. There's Robbie. Not Tony Vitello, his first year. Look at this. Wow. Come on now. Hey, now that's great camera work. That is off to a good start in the second half, if nobody else. That was a very dramatic camera shot down the bench. And a good punchline at the end. That's what we've got to talk about tonight.
I don't know if you want to hear this, Goldie, but how many times I get, hey, Aaron, hey, Goldsmith.
You can't be serious.
I sure do.
Come on. But you're talking about back in Australia. And you just play along? You're a real jerk. You could not be worse of a human being when people call you that. People start talking to you and you acknowledge them, then you just walk away.
Yeah.
Man, that Goldsmith guy is terrible.
Leave me on. I don't have time for you. Leave me on.
That's the appropriate thing to do in your position there. 2 outs, Crawford at third. I'm just impressed that people think that I have as big a shoulders as I do. I mean, that's. This is the best news I've gotten all day.
Hey, Aaron, what's up, Aaron? I got it on the right. I got it in Tampa, actually. I said, Aaron's not here. Aaron goes.
He left us for 3 days.
You can't get any, hey, Roland Smith.
No, because I'm half your size. 2-2. Naylor would bat next. I do get the occasional Brad Adam, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think I've heard that. I've witnessed that.
Which I can understand that. I mean, obviously better hair, not Brad, but I've never gotten a hey hyphen. If I ever do, I will definitely refer them to my podcast. And this is how tonight will end. It was not at all the way the Mariners wanted to start things. They lay an egg in the first game of the second half. They're held to 2 hits, 7-0. The Giants win it.
Yeah, really tough way to start this second half after that tough road trip to finish that first half. But you have to simply go in, flush it, get home, come back tomorrow, try and get game 2.
7-0. Giants win it. Mariners post game 2 minutes away.